Welcome you all to this press conference organized by Gambians against looted assets. But to start, we want to state that accountability is the bedrock of democracy, and transparency is not a privilege but a right, and justice must be timely, visible, and complete if it's going to mean something at all. In 2017, the Gambia established the Joint Commission of Inquiries to investigate the illegal enrichment and financial misconduct of the former President Yahya Jammeh and his associates. The commission uncovered widespread corruption and recommended that over 200 properties, including corporate holdings and bank accounts, be freezed. This effort was part of the broader transitional justice commitment under the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, which documented systematic human rights violations and highlighted economic crimes as pillar of regime's oppression mechanism. The final TRRC report affirmed restoration and transparency as essential in national healing. These two commissions, funded by Gambian taxpayers, provided the legal and moral basis for redress and for reclaiming the future. However, recently, Gambians were shocked by an investigative report from the Republic entitled "The Assets of the Gambia's Former Dictator Go for a Song," which exposes serious irregularities in the disposal of recovery assets. According to the report, public assets were sold below market value through apparent channels and without any public audit. In a statement, on the same time, the government confirmed that assets disposal follow a two-stage process. The Joint Commission followed a ministerial task force and promised to publish a full report in due course. We acknowledge this promise, but in due course is not acceptable when the public assets are at stake. Delay in transparency is denied in accountability. Therefore, we ask the following questions. Which assets were sold? Who bought them and at what price? How were the buyers selected? And where did the procedure go through? For these transactions bypass proper procedures, serve as political and personal interests, there must be consequences and heads must roll where wrongdoings occur. We, Gala, will hold a peaceful protest to advance these demands. Under our constitution, freedom of assembly is lawful and principal right. We have requested for a permit, and unfortunately, we want to inform you that the office of the IGP this afternoon called the group, and then this is the letter addressed. Request for permit to hold a peaceful demonstration. Office of the IGP of the police acknowledge receipt of your letter dated May 6, 2025 in relation to the caption above. We are pleased to inform you that your permit request is not approved. Kindly accept assurance of the Inspector General of Police in maintenance of peace and security. Therefore, as we said, with or without permit, is our fundamental right to protest, and we will protest. And what inspired this protest, we want to ask the following questions and demand to be met. First, immediate publication of a full list of all seized and stolen properties, including buyer's name and final sale price. Full disclosure of allocation of proceedings, including any payment to intermediaries and agencies. Independent public oversight of asset disposal process by the National Assembly, the National Audit Office, and then civil society representatives. Immediately, the Gambia government should withdraw its nomination of the former Minister of Justice, Abubakar Batambedu, to the ICC court. We call on the President of the Republic of the Gambia to immediately address the nation regarding these unforgettable and forgivable findings that threaten our collective progress as a people. Therefore, this protest, to be clear, is not political. It's a call for truth, justice, and restoration of public trust. We invite all Gambians, students, workers, survivors of injustice, and patriots to stand with us. This is a defining moment for our democracy and governance, and in the work of the Joint Commission and the TRRC must not fade into scary. We cannot rebuild our nation on the foundation of impunity. We cannot honor victims with mere words. We must act, and we must act now. Therefore, regardless of being permitted to protest under the Public Order Act, the IGP have no right whatsoever to deny citizens from peaceful assembly. We are not going to be irresponsible. We are responsible citizens, and tomorrow by 11 o'clock we are going to gather at the National Assembly to march to the AG chambers to deliver our petition that carries our message our demands and the petition. And this cannot be stopped, and this will not be stopped. Thank you.
Because the amla follow diamo be banne Omar aning Alaji Muhammad Kurang be media be tem la jam pour kana kamola press conference nginta ka broadcast na diamo keta menti wolom ngine mem fo man esura ka woni english kan wolom ko man to groupe lo fentira gala me alon ko ngal literol sa fenun kunu pour ka samba inspector general of police ya kaytan dala ko komanto lokun komanto news la fentira from the republic kaytan diko nafultinya menketa nun jane commission de me establish jan 2017 so ndella nyini ngaro be tara nata ku sabalom laftala ka long ya jembela nafulul ya jembela sajiul ya jembela property ya wafu jumal ya that is the only thing laftaka me nyini ngajang so laftala pour man sakunda through the ministry of justice I fully store bondina nyim bagasol nyim motor nyim kordal nyim ne asan ali asan jolal so that is the whole sense of what we have here. So the latest one make a science and a later also from the IG and permit in denial. So until come responsible people all living and it is our constitutional right to go outside to protest, which we are going to do tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So the media be invited laje, the funding be invited laje. This is not about politics, this is about the Gambia. Because na Bankola state be nyame nimmo wuling a diam. Nya fa nyame tambe sotala jambe be kala tomorrow gelle. So to fight for our country we need to stand firm. So Kamala Gamberol be kumanda soma by 11 o'clock. We all met at Banjul National Assembly. Peacefully. No insult, no nothing. We go to the minister and deliver our letter to them and then we disperse. So thank you. Our PRO will take some questions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Maa ngi leen di nuyu di leen sant di leen gërëm mbaal be kontaan na yéen a ko fi dégga lu mu explain ba pare mooy ne the Association of Gambians against loot assets, right? There are loot assets and a lot of things going on in town, but you know, Gambian ne luko gena tahamu niti jog bedi wax moy report bo xamne gena na leral bo xamne on put ken ci Gambian bi ne njuut jaaj jarna ci affaire assets of Yaya Jammeh how naka lañ ko disposer parce que Jaane commission moo daan investigate ba pare nga am assets yoo xam ne nguur bi decide ne dinañ ko jaay loolu nag nu mu demee moom lañ nettali by the Republic newspaper bu ñoo wax Republic ba dëkk bi yëpp di laajte lii naka la mun a xewee ñun tam dafa mel ni loolu moo ñu tax a jóg man moom xam ngeen ne maa ngi ci woon for 8 years di ko wax di ko binda right di ko woy so li ngeen gis nekkul loo xam ne dañ topp rek di wax dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa yàgga Gambian si di laajte boobu nag Omar statement buñ fi jógee the purpose of that statement mooy ñu ngi continuer si laajte boobu right ne sun right la as Gambians am access to information mooy boo xam ne parliamenti Adama Barrow right or parliamenti Gambia pass nañ ko government Adama Barrow ñu pass bill bi ne access to information that Gambian képp koo xam ne yaa ngi si réew mi da nga am right pour am any information boo xam ne dafa important for the taxpayer. So in that spirit ñun loolu lañ jóg nag parce que report bi buñ jëlee depuis léegi dégganguñ dara si nguur mi officially am na luñ dégga ñu ne waaw within a reasonable time or whatever xamuñ kan la dinañ publish list ban list bi nga xam ne moo woone right asset bu nekka wala bagage bu nekka kan moo ko jënda liste boobu nag ba tey ñu ngi koo xaar waaye dañ gis ne tam dañ war a jóg pour demonstrate nekkut ne pour create any trouble peacefully right si jàmma right ak naka si jàmma ak si lu dem si yoon pour wone Gambian si ne am na loo xam ne am na soxla si ñun ñëpp xam ngeen ne report bi bu mu génnee Tambadou Justice Minister waxoon na ne assets yu fa nekk ci report bi dem na almost 300 plus properties. 340 something million dollars, different from Dallases. So reasonable people say almost $1 billion missing. It's a generational wealth. That is a generational wealth. So Bufegene, generational wealth is missing. We must ask a generational question. And this is a generational press conference. If $1 billion is missing, and then you report procedure of how they are disposed. We are talking about the Republic only, not Negudlu Alaji Kurang Ham. No. Bobu indi wut ñu fi lan mo lo xamne leral nañ ko ci report bi mom la ci wax. So ci ndi lolu nak mu joxe mu ne dañ wara xam sun statement bi dañ wara xam fan la tolu asset bu nekk kan moko jaay kan moko jënda ñaata lañ ko jëndé value bi naka lañ ko amé because ñooñu critical questions len so len holé report bi the receiver was Augustus Prom. It's a prominent accounting firm in the Gambia for 20-30 years of practice. Why we saw in the report Augustus Prom, there were people complaining in the commission he gets 10% is too much. His term expired, they remove him. Why then in the Kenan Koham, it's a one-man company. How can a one-man company dispose of all the assets of a generation? Alpha Capital, established in 2017, started selling 1 year later $1 billion of assets. There are questions to be answered. The former Justice Minister himself said in his statement to the Republic, yeah, if I help my family get a plot of land between Jembe Hotel and Palmarima, I didn't get it for myself as Justice Minister, but if I call and follow up the people doing that procedure, then yes, it might have been a conflict of interest. Come on, journalists. The Justice Minister already admitted to conflict of interest. But we are saying that is more than just one man's statement of admission of conflict of interest. It is incumbent, an obligation on every Gambian. Ñun ñep dañ wara gis ne alal yi Alpha Capital ñu ko establish 1 year ñu pay ko a commission of $89 million to sell a few assets. That's just what we can see. Augustus Prom put aside an established firm. A government should deal with established firms. Justice Minister Chibopam admit that they withdraw the established firm and they brought in a new firm that was established 1 year with no audited accounts, no track record. Chilol lañ nekk tay nak yena dégg statement bi ne every Gambian has a right to peaceful assembly. Adama Barrow depuis buñ ko sanele carte 2017 lolu moy sun Gambians mi sun d'accord ak mom ne kep ko ku nekk ci Gambia bi am nga a right to peaceful assembly. There is no violent person here. I see only responsible people, young men and women who are independent, going about their daily lives, not dependent on any particular person, right, and asking for transparency. You know, Barrow bugut lendem. Te dinañ ko xam da Barrow bugana lendem da dega Barrow bugut lendem. Amna lu lendem. $1 billion is missing. Assets have been sold. Shares. Look at it. Let's cut this story. Go back to the Republic. Gum Petroleum. 17% of a mayor company on paper. Sold to Social Security and other parastatals and took cash from them of $300 million. And here are people sitting online talking about small corruptions. But the Janneh Commission itself was investigating why Yaya Jammeh and Social Security invested in Gam Petroleum. So that was a lesson. But then after the commission, we came back and repeated the same mistake to take the taxpayers' money and buy overvalued shares. 300 million, just to give 10%, 30 million cut to a newly established accounting firm or investment firm. Well, we do sorry. ñun ñëpp ñu fi am na suma yeneen gars yi ñu ngi woowa Omar leeral na rep we have a right to peaceful protest. The peaceful protest bi su fekkee ne daf ñoo sonal sa Gambians yi ñu fa war nañ koo dégga above this room. The guy, the villager in Wellingara should know what is happening, that we have an inheritance of a whole generation. All the TDA is your inheritance. That land belongs to the people. If we let it go, our grandchildren will be renting. You will be in your grave, and your grandchildren will be renting. Some people say, why now? It is now that is the best time to talk about it. You cannot go and protest based on Mamadi Kurang's personal statement. Does it make sense? But you have an investigative report that gave the chance for the justice minister, for the investors, for the lead counsel who knows Augustus Prom. And the lead counsel, the Justice Minister Batambedi say he don't know the Alpha Capital people, but the lead counsel of Janneh Commission, Ami Bensouda, must have known them. There are more questions to be answered.